All right, friends, it's T and I'm back with a new video. It's on Jason Blaha again. Yes, our favorite YouTuber, influencer, gym lifting, gear, fitness, recruiting, gym slave himself, Jason Blaha. All right, going to do a reaction video this morning to Blaha. So Jason Blaha says, what is power building? There's no such thing. It's made up. That's what it is. All right. But anyways, let's hear what he has to say.
What is power building and why is it so effective? Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat.
What is power building? Why is it so effective? It's effective. It's not effective. You should. The question is, what he should ask this question: what is steroids and why are they so effective? Because they're hormones. They bind with receptors, giving you maximal force production.
You guys a little bit about this. All right, Cliff Notes. Power building is essentially combining powerlifting training with bodybuilding training, with the majority of it being bodybuilding training, for the purpose of
getting what? The purpose of getting what?
Being big, jacked, aesthetic.
Getting big, jack, and aesthetic. Power building doesn't get you big, jack, and aesthetic. Oh man, exercise-induced muscle damage training gets you big, jacked, and super strong. Yeah, because it's based on myofibrillar growth. Does that sound the same? Power building and EIMD training, exercise-induced muscle damage? They don't sound the same, dude. Here's the thing. Let's see if I can bring this up.
According to Physiopedia, exercise-induced muscle damage, EIMD, this often occurs when an athlete participates in a new or unfamiliar exercise, when learning new techniques, or experiences an increase in the volume or intensity of exercise. This can lead to short-term performance decrements due to changes in the makeup of the muscles.
Exactly. That's what makes you bigger and stronger. You understand me? That's what makes you jacked, big, and strong. Now, if you want to get phony jacked, then keep lifting in the gym. You're an endurance athlete. That's based on sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. That's based on glycogen muscles, phony, fake, artificial muscles. Get it, dude? Yeah. His training is sarcoplasmic training. That's what the training they're doing, these power lifting, power building. But here's the thing about steroids. What's a unique feature? He says that power building is going to make you strong and jacked. But okay. So, hold on. So if you go here, NCBI, the myocytic androgen receptor controls that strength. How does it control that strength? It's really easy. More receptors. Okay, you have testosterone, or you have hormones, anabolic hormones, testosterone, whatever, in your body, and they bind to these androgen receptors. Now, when you lift weights, the androgens increase, and these receptors, they can increase in size too, and sometimes you can get more of them. And so that increases your maximal force production. But now think about it. If somebody injects steroids, a huge amount of molecules, and they bind to the myocytic androgen receptor, which controls that strength, that lifting strength. You understand me? Artificially, you inject it. What are you going to do? You're going to appear stronger because you're lifting that heavy weight. Everybody's going to think, well, he's strong because he can lift that heavy weight. So what is power building? Fake. There's nothing going on there. You understand me? That's why some people go to the gym and they say, yesterday I could squat 500. Today I could barely do 250. Why is that? Because it's based on androgen receptor and these molecules. Maybe your testosterone crashed overnight. You had poor sleep or something. I don't know what happened last night, or you didn't eat enough, you didn't get enough cholesterol, and so you didn't produce enough hormone. So then you come back to the gym and you lift as a natural lifter and you go, what the fuck, I feel weak today. But yesterday I was so gung-ho, so strong. See what I mean? Because it's based on AR. You understand me? That's what gives you maximal force production, like it says there. AR controls key pathways required for maximum force production. See what I mean? So a strength cannot get you bigger because but not the mass. If it's not, it doesn't control the mass of the limb muscles, like it says here. It doesn't control, it controls strength, but not the mass of limb muscles. What controls the mass of the limb muscles? They're separate. Muscle damage will control that, and a bunch of things, and nuclei, and yada yada. But anyway.
And strong all at the same time. So when I say that, though, I do want to preface that with there is very, very little of what we would think of as powerlifting in a program like this, because there doesn't need to be. I think a lot of people, when they hear that, they then assume, oh, it's going to be half powerlifting. But what do we know based upon research? What do we know?
I love his man boobs. It looks really cool, man. He is so sexy, dude.
Based upon some of the strongest powerlifters in the world long term, historically, is that it's just not necessary to do large amounts of really heavy work in order to maximize your strength. Large amounts of really heavy work in order to maximize your strength. And I know that may sound like a contradiction for a lot of people, but really muscle mass is where we get most of our strength potential. Okay, so
yeah, muscle mass is where you get your strength potential, your natural, how should I put this, your permanent natural strength. You understand me? You don't have to practice at lifting anymore. You don't really have to practice much at lifting anything heavy anymore, because the more muscle mass you put on, real muscle mass, the stronger you shall get. You understand me? Permanently. Because it's based on an adaptation system. So every time you adapt to your exercises and your lifts and your exercises, whatever it is you're doing there, then the body will rapidly repair and remodel those muscles bigger and stronger. So now they are resilient from further assaults of the same exercises. So what do you need to do? You need to increase the intensity, right? And you need to increase the weight at the same time. But it doesn't happen with a repeated bout. And it has to be periodically done. It can't be consistently, as periodically, because it's based on an adaptation. Adaptation means muscle damage. And exercise-induced muscle damage training is not based on endurance training, coming in lifting every day. Sarcoplasmic training, what this guy's doing, he's sarcoplasmic training. A lot of these bodybuilders sarcoplasmic train by coming in often to the gym and not periodically. They come consistently and not periodically. See what I mean? That's the difference between myofibrillar growth and sarcoplasmic, which is artificial growth.
Even they pointed out, let's say Westside Barbell, right? Strongest gym in the world. Louis Simmons coached over 100 world record holders in power.
Yeah, sure he did. Louis Simmons, bullshit, whatever. They're all bullshit people. They took steroids, okay? So what is the difference between, let's see.
According to Medical News Today, there are two types of muscular hypertrophy: myofibrillar, which is an increase in myofibrils, and sarcoplasmic, which is an increase in muscle glycogen storage.
Well, there you go. So we have two types of hypertrophy. You understand me? Hypertrophy means something's getting bigger. So one is myofibrillar, which is an increase in myofibrils. And the other one is sarcoplasmic, which is an increase in what? In muscle glycogen storage. Do you understand me? Listen to what they said. Glycogen storage. You understand me? So which one are you getting? Which one are you getting? See what I mean? You can read from the top here. Muscular hypertrophy. A muscle growth refers to an increase in muscle mass. There are two types of this type of muscle hypertrophy. See that? An increase in muscle mass. You can increase muscle mass through sarcoplasmic or myofibrillar. But which one makes you stronger? You think storing glycogen in your muscle makes you stronger? No. Myofibrillars make you stronger. Now, how do you build myofibrillars? How do you build them? That is the question. See what I mean? See that? How do you build myofibrillars? How do you increase the myofibrillars? Huh? How do you do that, dude? See what I mean? You think it's coming into the gym every day? Remember, these are separate trainings. These are separate. One is based on exercise-induced muscle damage, and another one is based on glycogen storage. And you coming in every day to the gym lifting. There is a training for sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. There is a training. All right. And that's what his training is.
Lifting that went on to coach people and all these others.
See, the difference between these fake bodybuilders like Blaha, they inject steroids, they inject hormones to do these lifts and everything else. But their training is sarcoplasmic training. So you get natural people, they're going to go, oh, look at this power building. I have to do what these guys do to get big and jacked and all that. Meanwhile, you're doing sarcoplasmic training. You're not doing exercise-induced muscle damage training. They are separate.
Sports and apply the same principles to them, high-level sprinters, MMA fighters, boxers, everybody, right? Those same concepts were then taken to Joe DeFrank.
Yeah, all those MMA fighters, boxers, and everybody are all on steroids. They're on steroids.
Goes gym where he even coached.
The majority of influencers online, the popular influencers online, are all on steroids. Greg Doucette is on steroids, and all these other guys, Togi and everybody. That's why people watch him, like the Trent Twins and everybody. They're all on steroids, and if they're not the ones, they're doing something still artificial, either creatine or some shit or whatever to impress you. And they're really young people out there. But here's the thing, here's the kicker. They have to constantly do it to keep up with it, because if they don't, bye-bye. Just like that actor now that lost all his muscles because he stopped taking drugs. He lost all his sarcoplasmic gains, his phony gains. I've never lost, look, I've lost a little bit of my gains because, 25 years, I don't really lift weights. I don't keep up with it. Sometimes I eat, I don't eat. I do specific things. I don't really care. But a good majority of my muscle has stayed because it's based on myofibrillar growth. It isn't based on sarcoplasmic. So when people look at me and they go, okay, you're pumped, you're this, you're eating glycogen, you're eating carbs, whatever. No, I haven't been on any carbs for more than a year now. So the last part of my videos that I showed you, I started going to the buffet, and what I did was I lowered the fat, but I increased more of the protein and seafood stuff. And so that drove the rest of anything else that was left in my system. It drove it out. Any energy source that was left in there from any carbs or anything from the previous year just went right out. And so when I posed my last pictures I posed in the mirror, you can see I look dry. I look completely dried out. See what I mean? I'm completely dried out because there's no glycogen in my body, but yet I still look big. I still have muscle. I look like a bodybuilder. You understand me? Because it's based on myofibrillar growth. But a good majority of people like Hercules XXX, his little tiny gains he had were sarcoplasmic. That's why you see him laying, he's all upset and jealous and everything, laying in his mom's basement, looking kind of chubby and fat. I can prove it. Just go to his channel. Look how he turned out. Look how a good majority of people go after steroids. Look how they shrink so fast. Why? Because it's sarcoplasmic training. Try to explain this to you. It isn't based on myofibrillar training. I told you, to build muscles are astronomically high. Exercise-induced muscle damage is based on muscles that are untrained, unfamiliar, and unaccustomed. Get this damage. You understand me? You have to move for new or unaccustomed exercises that you have never done before to get that damage. Or the exercise has to be extreme, but it can't be with a repeated bout. It won't damage with a repeated bout. That's the problem. And these people keep repeating bouts of exercises in the gym. Thus, they are adapted. Muscle damage is based on adaptation. But these guys are adapted. Do you understand me? So there's no more adaptations. It's really simple. Other than their glycogen storage, their glycogen loading, the storage, they're storing glycogen in their muscle. That's it. And it gives the appearance that they're jacked.
tons and tons of people to get into the NFL using the same training methods. And even Louis Simmons said, look, 70% of our training.
The problem with steroid people and the natural people out there, they confuse the two together. They keep confusing. These guys take steroids, try to impress you, and they say you got to do these exercises and everything, and you're gonna get big and eat this chicken and broccoli, and then it never works for any of you. Oh, but then again, a lot of you start eating carbs, like they tell you to eat carbs, like Blaha, rice and potatoes and yams and shit and whatever, garbage artificial food, so that you can grow the sarcoplasm and look phonily jacked like Blaha here with his fake muscles.
Is bodybuilding. Okay, 70% of it.
He's got little puffy muscles with some glycogen in there. The problem with him is that he overtrains, and so his muscles don't even have a chance to put in enough glycogen in there to look more puffy than the last time. But he has absolutely zero myofibrillar growth because he doesn't do exercise-induced muscle damage training at all whatsoever. Because it doesn't look pretty. If it doesn't look pretty, then he won't do it because he's trying to impress you by lifting a heavy weight. And all you dumb people are impressed because look, lift heavy weight. Numbers, they're PR and all that. Stupid garbage shit, training, stupid stuff.
And in his gym, it was 5% max effort, 25% speed work, and then 70% just straight hypertrophy training. So power building is really a simple version of that same concept, really. It's really 5 to 10% powerlifting and then 90 to 95% bodybuilding. And here's why. Because getting jacked in general will improve your strength potential, and it only takes a few sets.
Getting jacked will improve your performance because it's glycogen loading in the muscle, but it will not improve your lifting. You understand me? Because it's not associated with strength. Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is not associated with strength. Myofibrillar growth is. Look, man.
According to PubMed, exercise-induced myofibrillar hypertrophy is a contributory cause of gains in muscle strength. SportsMed.
See that? And what is that? And what is that based on? Myofibrillar hypertrophy. It's based on what? Muscle damage. You understand me? Exercise-induced muscle damage training. So it is associated with what? The cause of gains in what? Muscle strength. So what is sarcoplasmic associated with?
According to Wikipedia, according to this hypothesis, during sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, the volume of sarcoplasmic fluid in the muscle cell increases with no accompanying increase in muscular strength, whereas during myofibrillar hypertrophy, actin and myosin contractile proteins increase in number and add to muscular strength as well as A.
See that? So whereas during myofibrillar hypertrophy, actin and myosin contractile proteins increase number and they increase the number and they add to muscular strength as well as, and so forth and so on. You can read it down here. So the sarcoplasmic doesn't do what? With no accompanying increase in muscular strength. There's no increase. There's an increase of fluid, but there's no increase in strength. So what gives you strength? Permanent strength. What gives you permanent strength? If you're adding numbers, increase in numbers, it's like it says here, contractile protein increase in number, right? It's going to increase what? Strength, because it's permanent. You understand me? But you don't understand lifting because none of you do out there because you're listening to phony bodybuilders, man. You understand me? But anyway, whatever.
Of heavy work every week to actually actualize that potential and to maximize it. And so that can be done through a couple of ways. Now, the way I'm using here throughout this video, just from some of the clips, I'm just taking the traditional lifts. I do a heavy single, sometimes heavy double or triple on that lift once a week. So I just do that with the classic big three. You could take this same idea, do the same thing that they did for conjugated weight.
Yeah, I know some people, they're like, they come in once in a while too. They'll come in a week later and do some lifts. But they don't understand that even though you come back the following week as a trained athlete, and even if you are familiar with these exercises, But you want to get muscle damage, and I told you there's two ways to get it. Me, I do a vigorous exercise. My exercise is vigorous. I don't know how to explain this. It is extremely intense. I'm not shooting for unaccustomed exercises or untrained or unfamiliar forms. Those will get you damaged. But I come in, people are like, how do you get that? How are you able to get that damage to come back? You come back every week and you do your full upper body. It's really simple. Because I overworked every single muscle group. I did a 5x10, but I did a 5x10 upper, middle, lower, chest, right? Upper, middle, lower. Then I did flies as well. So that's 5x10, 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 right? Then I go to do my back. I do everything for my back. I do behind the neck pull downs, front pull downs. I do close grip pull downs. I do one arm rows. I do close grip rows. I do landmines. I do fucking barbell, reverse barbell from the front. I do traps. I do two different movements for traps. Then I move for shoulders. I do behind, middle, back, front, this, that. I do my arms, my forearms. I do a bunch of stuff, bro. It's an overworking of you could call it overworking of that muscle. It's extreme. It's something extreme exercise. I'm doing extreme exercise. So every muscle group is still getting overworked because if I did my chest, I'm doing my back. If I did my chest, I'm still doing my back, arms, and shoulders. And when I keep doing them, they keep getting overworked at the same time. They're getting worked at the same time, all of them. You understand me? In a full upper body, but once a week. You understand me? Because they don't get damaged with a repeated bout. It's really simple. But his training is garbage training.
Side and rotate lifts, right? You could go through the week, you start your workout with some max effort lifts with random big lifts, variations of the lift, so what do I...
And when you do get this exercise-induced muscle damage, when you shoot for that type of training and you understand the concept, how it works, you would be able to get this damage to come back all the time because your instincts, you could follow your instincts and they never fail me, my instincts on getting this damage to come back. Plus, you need to be in positive nitrogen balance. You need to eat a lot, and not fake food. You need to eat real food, a lot of it. I'm not saying you can't add potatoes. Look, it's artificial, definitely. You can add some complex carbohydrate to lifting as a young person. I don't recommend it. I believe that animal fat is a lot better for you. If you eat more animal fat to increase that energy, it'll make you healthier, better, stronger, a bunch of stuff. Look, we are carnivores, we eat meat. Anything you eat outside is artificial. So when people say I'm going on my carnivore diet, no, you're really going on an elimination diet. You've been eating meat the whole time. You're just eliminating all these plant foods that you've been eating, these drugs. Plants are drugs, dude.
What do you mean by that? Yeah, instead of a flat bench, you could bench on a floor press, a pen press, an incline bench, a closed grip bench, right? All these different variations.
Again, that exercise is concentric. It is not eccentric. Us bodybuilders, we focus on the eccentric part of the exercise. We don't care about full range. We don't want to go to the top. We want to go to the bottom, not the top. We're focused on the bottom.
Squats, you could do. You don't have to do back squat. You could do box squat. You could do pin squats. You could do squat.
You don't even have to fully lock out. You don't have to lock out in the eccentric portion of the exercise. You just have to hit the bottom here, your heels. You have to hit the heels with your butt. And then when you go up this high. And then you go back down again. You don't have to go all the way to the top. There's no purpose behind it because you're trying to cause as many micro injuries to the muscle fiber. You understand me? Yeah. These are kind of like stopping motions.
With different bars, band.
Cause the muscle to break.
Change, whatever you want to do. Deadlift, same idea. You can max on good mornings on this system. A lot of people do. Even on the conjugate type system. So again, you can apply those ideas to this style of training. They can be applied to it. The main thing is that you need need some heavy max effort work to where you hit weights that are 90% or higher of your true 1 rep max every single week. Okay? But that would only comprise about 5 to 10% of your training. Okay? And that's going to help.
Again, he went partial way. This is an eccentric exercise. This is a sarcoplasmic training. When people focus, they're just doing frivolous training, and they're coming in all the time. They're focused more on the concentric than eccentric. That is sarcoplasmic training, and a lot of his training is concentric.
Help you with the rest of it. It's going to help with your strength. It's going to help you with efficient training, efficiently recruiting upper threshold muscle fibers, because we know based on data we've seen that doing some heavy singles.
Stop paying for life insurance that
Muscle fibers, because we know based on data we've seen that doing some heavy singles, even just one heavy single before a workout, seems to enhance performance and motor unit recruitment on even your rep workout.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. Recruiting motor units. That's it.
Afterwards. Okay, so it brings a lot to the table. Like it can potentially.
What's his training about? Recruiting motor units. You understand me? And sarcoplasmic training, glycogen storage, loading. Me, I do myofibrillar. All you have to do is myofibrillar exercise, or you have to exercise induce muscle damage to grow more myofibrillars. That's it. That's all you have to focus on. And guess what? You'll be permanently stronger. Yeah, you'll be permanently stronger. You'll be bigger and permanently stronger. You'll be very strong. The more adaptations you can get in myofibrillar growth, the stronger you shall get, because it's in numbers.
Hypothetically enhance your muscle gains. Plus, being stronger is always a good thing there.
Yeah.
So then
being stronger, getting more myofibrillars is a good thing. But injecting steroids and pretending you're strong is not a good thing, broski.
you do with the rest of the workout. Split type routines. It can be a 3-day, a 4-day, a 5-day. I coach people on all of those. I currently do 5. But I have people who train in this style who do 3 days a week on like a push-pull legs. And it's, of course, really a squat, bench, deadlift day in a lot of ways. And they're vastly successful. But any of them is the same. So then we come in and we train like a bodybuilder. Now, a lot of that can still be pretty heavy work. I mean, you could come in and do triples on.
He's not training like a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders, real bodybuilders, they train periodically. And they shoot for, again, they shoot for adaptations. They do things that they're unaccustomed, untrained, unfamiliar with, or they do something that is extreme. They do an exercise, they do exercises that are extreme, but they never come back to do it. They do the same exercise with a repeated bout, because we all know you're going to be in pain anyways. If you did get an adaptation, you're going to be in such pain, you're not going to want to come back. Trust me. You're not going to lift anything. You're going to be fucked up. You're going to be damaged. And now it has to go through repair and a remodeling. An adaptation, dude.
Some of these other lifts behind, I like to. You could do 5, 6s, but then you're going to have some stuff that's up around that 8 to 12 rep range also. So here's the idea. Then you come behind it and you say, I'm going to just build everything up. I did this little
you're going to build it up. Yeah, your body's not going to do it. You're going to do it,
little bit of heavy work. Now we're going to come in and train everything. And then you're going to come in and you're going to do that with big movements, pull-ups, leg presses, whatever you need to do.
You want to know how to shut off the myostatin hormone? It's really simple. When the satellite cell is activated, they cannot occupy the same space. You see what I mean? But once the myoblasts fuse to the muscle fibers, they can no longer divide. Once they fuse, they can't divide anymore. And that's when myostatin excretes, because now it prevents the nuclei or these myoblasts from dividing. That's how it controls it. Okay, so how do you get more of it? By activating the satellite cell. Okay, what activates the satellite cell? Muscle injury. Injuries to the muscle fibers, to these fibers, cause the satellite cell to activate. And then when it activates, when they're injured, what does it do? It proliferates, and then it differentiates into what? Myoblasts, fibroblasts, and myoblasts. You understand me? And then what does the satellite cell do? Oh, it donates its nucleus. got cut out there.
Like
So what else does it do? It differentiates, proliferates, differentiates into myoblasts and fibroblasts, and then and then it donates its nuclei to that domain to do what? To support muscle growth. You get it? Because nuclei synthesize protein. These they create fibers, and then the nuclei, they attach to them. Yeah, because these fibers are highly nucleated, so you need more nuclei to support further muscle growth, because they have an MND size limit, the cells. Okay, man. Anyways, let's go on with this, because this fucking thing turned off again.
presses, whatever you need to do, incline benching, right? Take all these other big compounds, build everything. Now use this for base building. Then you come through and say, what got missed? And then you isolate it. Okay?
He's been watching my video. Now he's going all the way down. But he's still going way too far up.
Example like you see there.
He is going a lot lower, but he doesn't have to go all the way to the top, lock out. You don't have to lock out. Look, it has to be rapid firing. So you can only go partial way on a rapid firing exercise. This exercise is too slow. I just did a video on it. SF and FV, okay? Velocity. Fast velocity versus slow velocity. So what causes the velocity to go slow in muscle damage? When you're trying to damage the muscle fibers, well, doing full range of motion will cause it to be slow velocity. Now, what will cause the velocity to go faster? When it's partial range. You don't need to go all the way up. You need to go all the way down, but you need to bring it back up again. But you only need to bring it up so far to the midpoint. Like I said in my last videos, I was critiquing him. Bring it up to the midpoint and then bring it all the way back down again. Midpoint down, midpoint down. That way you can move faster. The velocity is faster and you'll cause the muscle to damage. But if you do it like him, slow velocity, look.
Doing some tricep extensions because the long head of the triceps didn't get enough work.
It's slow because by the time, if I was to sit next to him and I was to do fast velocity and he does slow velocity, I will get more repetitions faster, quicker than him. He'll still be there trying to finish the reps. He's just wasting his time.
You might have saw me through some of this doing some flat.
And he's adapted to all these exercises, so it doesn't matter what he's doing here. It's meaningless. It's meaningless.
Bench doing some incline, which does help build triceps, but the long head of the triceps get neglected. Maybe.
No, they don't, because you wouldn't have to talk about it. You could show it. On my channel, I showed. I didn't have to talk about, I'm going to build my arms or my triceps or my chest or my back or my legs or anything. I just simply showed it. Oh, how do you build your calves? Why are your calves so big? Because I showed it. That's how you build them. You build them and then you show him. He's got nothing to show.
Your side delts are getting neglected from the big lifts you're doing.
Remember, body will do the talking for you. You don't have to speak. Body will do the talking. So if these exercises actually built him, then he wouldn't have to speak, get it? Because body would do the talking, but his body says nothing.
Your rear delts, your calves,
That's why he complains about his arms, and then he tells you how to build big arms. Meanwhile, he can't build his arms, and then he tells you how to build arms? What? That's crazy. Hey, I never made money in my entire life. I've never been rich before, but let me tell you how to get rich. Oh, okay, sure. Next time, meanwhile, you look at this bum, he's sitting next to you, and he's trying to tell you how to get rich, and meanwhile, he's like dressed in rags.
Forearms, your neck, whatever. You come through behind it and say, what didn't get worked enough? Right, from the max lifts, the big heavy lifts, then from all the compound work, and then you come in and you literally do an isolation movement for everything that didn't get maximized.
Oh yeah.
Okay, whether it's your hamstrings or your rear delts or your biceps. Right, come through and do it. Like in my case, these days I do isolation work for biceps, triceps, forearms, my neck, my calves. Okay, all those things. Come in and isolate them. And it doesn't take a lot of work. Like my workouts are 45 minutes or so, an hour tops. Some of them are only 30 minutes. Right? So the whole principle behind this, getting big and strong, is you come in and do a very small amount of very heavy lifting, probably on the classic lifts, but if not, other big movements, right? You maximize your strength and neural drive with just a few sets. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 sets a week, tops. And that's for all your heavy work. That's not per exercise, that's total. Then you come through and you build everything with big compound movements, and then finish everything off with isolation. In an efficient manner, come in and isolate anything that still needs the extra work. And for most of you, things like arms and some shoulders are probably going to be on that list. I'd say particularly things like arms. Right, and that is
isolation, yes, arms, this and that. He never talks about exercise-induced muscle damage. He never talks about untrained, unfamiliar, unaccustomed exercises will get you these adaptations in muscle damage to build more myofibrillar growth. All of his training is sarcoplasmic, because listen to the way he talks. All of these guys' training is sarcoplasmic, and that's everybody. That includes Menzer and all these fake bodybuilders and Blaha and everybody else and influencers. It's all sarcoplasmic. You want to know why? Because it's yo-yo training. It's fake. It's garbage. The old saying, no pain, no gain. Yeah, there's no pain, there's no gain. In real gain, there's no gain. But he's doing stuff that he loves to do. I'll explain this. If you do what you love, you can't be successful. You got to do what it takes. You understand me? A lot of people complaining, they go, oh man, I feel sore for days. I worked out and everything. And meanwhile, they don't want to eat while they got this adaptation. They don't want to do anything, and then they complain about it. And then they go, I don't want that again, and whatever. Because, you want to know why? Because they're lazy, bro, get it? They don't like that stuff. They like it easy, you understand me? They like to do things that they love. Lift a heavy weight, right? And pretend they're jacked by eating lots of artificial carbohydrates, artificial food called carbohydrates, and building pretend muscles because I'm doing what I love, get it? Lifting heavy weight. Why do they inject steroids? Because they're doing what they love, injecting steroids. If you do what you love, you can't be successful. So they complain when the steroids go away and they shrunk and they get weak and they shrink, they complain. Why? Because they did what they love. That's why they can't be successful, get it? See what I mean? They're only successful as long as they keep doing these phony things in their genre. But when they stop, it all goes away. Because, want to know why? Because they did what they loved. Me, I do what it takes. People hate me because I do what it takes. They do what they love. You understand me? Looking pretty in the gym, lift a heavy weight, couple repetitions or whatever. They would never survive a workout with me, man. They'd be dead.
The whole principle is combining these ideas together to say I'm going to get as jacked and aesthetic and everything as I possibly can, but then we're also going to get real strong. We're going to take all that muscle we're gaining and we are going to make sure that it's not non-functional in any way. We're going to get strong. We're going to maximize our power, our strength, and our force production with just a little tiny bit of extra work. All right, guys, but that's really all.
Oh, yeah. Force production with a little tiny work. He's just making up stuff, man. Makes no sense whatsoever. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Don't think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you next one. Ciao.